time, but it's time you pick up your phone. You won't be worth my while. Me and you won't work out. Pick it up, pack it up, get a cab and go. It's not your fault, my baby. It's not on you, my baby. I'm just not the right kind of girl for you. You deserve somebody who's loving you. You shouldn't call me later. Promise it's for the better. I'm just not the right kind of girl for you. Cause I got a rule. I hold on to my heart. Share with nobody. I don't want nobody else. Yeah, I hold on to my heart. Give it up for nobody. I just keep it to myself. I ain't got room for love. I don't need stars above. All I need is my precious space. Yeah, yeah.
Hello and welcome to my channel. It's the Network Specialist. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell so that you know each and every time I upload a video. Everything I will discuss in this video is alleged and in my very own opinion, used for entertainment purposes only. Today I will be giving you guys an update on the Halle, not sure, Bailey and DDG bitter custody battle. So let's get into it. Hey, Mama Bees, thank you so much for being here and thank you for all you do. Hey, Toot Latrice, thank you so much for being here. Miss you, sis. So, guys, first, we're just going to do a recap of what we pretty much already know about the situation. So, let me go ahead and share my screen. Give me 1 second, guys. So let's see. Okay, and let me just make sure you guys can see it. Yes, great. Let me just go to the post. Okay, so as most of you already know, DDG reportedly wants sole custody of Halo. He claims Holly isn't mentally healthy enough to take care of his 1-year-old. Also alleges Holly tried to have an AB behind his back, but she didn't go through with it. So let's get into it. And shout out to the neighborhood talk because this is where I seen it. So they said, neighbors, get into this. The legal drama between Halle Bailey and DDG continues. DDG recently filed an emergency motion to a judge begging him not to let Halle take their 1-year-old son, Halo, to Italy for her job due to Halle allegedly being mentally unhealthy. In the motion obtained by TMZ, DDG claims Halle poses an imminent emotional and psychological risk to Halo that he believes will be made worse if she's allowed to take Halo to Italy with her for weeks while she films a movie. DDG claims she isn't mentally healthy enough to care for both herself and Halo while she's overseas. Throughout their relationship, DDG claims Halle has exhibited questionable mental behavior on multiple occasions. Once, he claims while she was pregnant, she took one of his GUNs, out of the house without his permission, and he found her just standing outside holding it. Then he claims Halle actually tried to have an AB without his knowledge, but she ultimately decided against it. Then DDG claims a few months after Halo was born, Holly was in a seemingly suicidal state, allegedly texting him a series of alarming messages threatening to unalive herself and suggesting that their infant son, Halo, might also be harmed. DDG also provided proof that Holly is the one who is abusive, not him, after she claimed he caused her to chip her tooth during an altercation. DDG says that's the opposite of what happened, claiming Holly allegedly lunged at him from the backseat of the car. Her momentum caused her to fall and hit the steering wheel. He claims he was harmed during the alleged attack as well, providing a picture of his finger injury. DDG is asking the judge for sole legal and physical custody of Halo. If this is not granted, he wants all custody exchanges handled by a third party. Woo, that's a lot. Okay, so let's see here. So this is a picture of his injury during that altercation. If you guys can see that. Yes, this is a picture of the injury. And then, and although we know that the judge did grant Holly the restraining order against DDG after she claims he smashed her head into a steering wheel and chipped her tooth, says he threw her phone out the window and yelled, "Go get it, B." And then these are some pictures of the bruises that she sustained during the altercation. Okay. So give me a second. There is something else I would like to show you guys. So then, and let me just check on the chat for a second. Hey, FMC, long time. Thank you so much for being here, sis. Hey, Paula, thank you so much for being here. And FMC says, I'm stopping in while at lunch. FMC. And Sound Check Annette, thank you so much for being here. Okay, so let's get back over here so that we can explore some more about this situation. Mm. So I also want to, because there's been a lot of back and forth um, with this whole situation. He even said that she had been phone tagging him or whatever you call it, where she was keeping up with his whereabouts. And then he also showed some receipts of some text messages that Holly sent him after she found out that he was cheating on her. So basically, I'm going to go through it really fast. I guess this is like shorthand typing because a lot of it doesn't make any sense. She says, "This is proof." She says, "You leave me hanging as a mother." And she says, "You son, step up when I need you to." I guess she's trying to say you don't step up, but I guess this is what it looks like when you're really angry and you're typing really fast because there is a lot of typos. And then she says, "I am begging you." And this does sound like somebody who is losing their shit, okay? She says, "I just found out you slept with Lala in Mexico." And then she went on to say, "I'm going to off or unalive myself tonight." And then she says, "My son will not be around for it." And then she says, "I hate you forever." Then she went on to say, "You can have him and let her be his mom." No, 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 you can go, but no, my baby not going nowhere. And she repeated that. And then she says, "I'm going to try one more time. If you don't answer, it's over forever." And then she says, "I'm not playing, Daryl." And then she said, "That's it." And then he said, well, she says, "I'm calling for help." And she says, "I have a knife." And then she said again, "I'm calling for help." "But why don't you care?" do you? And then she says, okay. And then she said, I thought we'd do what I wanted to do today since it's Mother's Day. Can y'all believe they're having this back and forth on Mother's Day? And then she said, but if you really want to go, you can. And then she says, it's just go home and pack. And then she says, hello. So finally, he responds and he says, if you don't come back here, I'm going to call the police. I don't want you to do something stupid. And he said, I'm going to give it 5 minutes. And he went on to say, you have a son. And then he said, I know you took my GUN. And then he said, that GUN has no safety. And then she said, he said, put it down. That's not nothing to play with. And I'm sure he was afraid of what could possibly happen to the mother of his child. Then she said, you have ruined me and all my happiness. You hang up when I'm begging for your help. You're the only, like, out because this is terrible typos. And she says, and you're so focused on being famous and having money. Why don't you ever see what's in front of you? How could you? How could you go to Mexico and be with someone else? How could you openly talk shit about me to all your family and all the women you want to sleep with? You want so you want to ruin me. Okay, I think that's the end of the text messages. Thank God, because that was a lot, guys. That was a whole lot. Okay, so now I'm going to skip. So next it says the legal drama between Holly Bailey. Is this the part I read? Give me 1 second, guys. The legal drama between Holly Bailey and DDG continues. DDG recently filed an emergency motion to Judge begging him. Okay, I'm sorry, guys. I think I did already read that. So let me go to the update because that's really what we're here for. Because most of this we've already seen it, but I just wanted to go ahead and refresh everybody's memory just in case you have not heard. So now we're going to go to the update. And again, it says that um, DDG's mother says Holly Bailey placed multiple air tags in DDG's vehicles, claims Holly allegedly popped up on DDG while he was at the movies with a female friend and tried to fight the woman. So it seems like before they completely called it quits, she was spiraling out of control. That's what it's looking like. And another one of his friends, Baby Rich, also said that he was aware that she was putting those location monitors on him. So, guys, this is the update. And let me go over here. And Alpha MC said DDG's proof showed me that he was a piece of shit and just never cared about her like she did him. He only wanted to trap her with a child and go on about his life. Ooh. And Mama B says she sounds like she is suffering from postpartum. Yes, that's what a lot of people seem to think. And I think she's a lot better at this point. And Paula said the judge denied. Yes, Paula, that's exactly where we're at right now. So, guys, here is the update. The judge denies DDG's temporary restraining order against Holly Bailey. So, this was as of 6/5, which is today. DDG's temporary restraining order request against Holly Bailey has been denied. So, what are your thoughts on that, guys? Now, I'm going to stop sharing this and I'm going to share you guys what I said about this whole situation initially when it first happened, because pretty much my opinion has not changed. So let me go ahead and share my screen so that I can play that for you guys. Again, is Haley. So when it comes to that situation, I feel, eh, guys, make sure your volume is turned up. You know, when you share, sometimes the volume isn't that high, so make sure that your volume is turned up. Like there's three sides to every story. There's her side, there's his side, and then the truth is going to lie somewhere in between. So I really do feel like both Halle and DDG both make very good points when it comes to this situation. Because I will say that if he is, inflicting DV on Holly, that she did the right thing by getting a protective order. Okay. Now, with that being said, some people feel like she's lying about the DV. I cannot make that accusation because I'm not there. I have no way of knowing, so, and they don't either. So I choose not to say that she's lying about that. Now, the other thing that kind of make me look at this and question Holly or Haley, however you want to pronounce it, or however she pronounces it, is that she did say out of her own mouth, and I'm trying to be neutral in this situation because I believe that they're both at fault to some degree. She did say that she cannot work without her baby. And right now, she's filming out of the country. So she was able to get full custody, temporary full custody while they're going through whatever they're going through so that her baby could be with her. And she did say that she cannot film without her baby. She needs her baby there to be able to do her job and to this and to that. And my whole thing is, Haley, that's a little bit too much, hon. I know this is your first baby. I know that you're young and inexperienced. I get it. I had a first baby too at one point. But I think she's doing a little too much when it comes to that. And also, I had to swallow this same hard pill. When you choose to have a baby with somebody, like it is what it is. Like the only thing that you can say to yourself, and I've had to have the same conversation with myself, okay, is that Haley, you need to pick better. You need to pick a better person to choose to have a baby with because at the end of the day, you're stuck with this person, if not for 18 years, for the rest of your life. So you need to make a educated decision, when you decide on who you're going to have babies with. So I think that if nothing else, she just regrets the person that she chose to have a baby with. I get it. Been there, done that. It happens. But at the same time, he is your baby's dad. Like, he deserves to spend just as much time with his son as you do. And I have to be fair about this. So, at the end of the day, whether he did what she said that he did or not, he still deserves to see his kid. So if they have to bring somebody in, like a mom, a grandmother, whatever the case may be, to do that switch off, that's what they got to do. And she cannot judge on how he chooses to spend time with his son. As much as it might hurt to watch him the way that he spent times with his son, it is what it is. You picked him, okay? You picked him. So there's no turning back when it comes to that. You knew what type of person he was and how he lived his life when you chose to have a baby with him. So it is what it is. So I'm not going to bash this guy because maybe he's young, he's inexperienced, and so are you. The only difference is you're a woman and he's a man. Men and women, they parent differently. That doesn't make her a better parent because she's a woman. And it doesn't make him less of a parent because he's a man. I've seen very good dads, that are better than the mom, and then vice versa. So that could go either way. So at the end of the day, when it comes to that whole situation, I just wish them the best. I'm staying neutral because I think that they both play a part, you know, in whatever they're going through right now. And she really does want to try to dictate what he does with his son, how he spend times, and you just can't do that. Girl, you just gotta pray. It's hard. I get it. I've had to pray too. You know what I'm saying? It's uncomfortable sometimes to know what your child could potentially being exposed to. But again, you picked it. And I'm just going to leave that right there. And guys, that's all I got. I'm here. Okay, guys. So again, my opinion remains the same. Okay. I think that they just are not in a good place when it comes to co parenting. And again, they're just going to have to share custody. Oh, well, now she still has full custody. And it's just a sad situation all the way around. And Alf MC said that I'm going to take out the DV part of their situation. Looking at how he moves, it's documented in his live streams. He is very much so performative. Her stating she needed her baby on site with her. Okay. And Q said, better person, question mark. And Q said, just because that woo 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 sing in church doesn't mean she's a good person. You're absolutely right. People can make you think that they're one way, and I'm not saying whether she's whatever she is, but I'm just saying people can put a mask on and just fool you into thinking that they're, a particular way, and they could be the total opposite. And Alf MC says, it's definitely because she's a new mom and she doesn't trust the child's father or his environment. She definitely did not pick a good father just outside looking in. And that's how I feel. You know, she's just regretting the fact that she got pregnant from this guy. And 25K Jessie said, she said she was going to get an AB if DDG don't get back together with her. That's pretty, ugh. That's something to try to hold over somebody's head. That's kind of ridiculous. They're both young, and at this point, they're going to do and say wild and crazy things because that's just what some, not all, young people do. And Q, who's obviously a man, says, y'all females need to pipe down with that woman empowerment BS. I am neutral here, Q. In case you didn't just hear that whole audio that I just played, I am neutral in this situation. This is not about any woman empowerment. So miss me with that right there, okay? And I'm not flip flopping. That's why I played my audio from when all of this first happened, so you guys could see that my opinion remains the same. I'm not sure if you didn't hear that part. And then he also said, I say make her the new Amber Heard. Okay, so guys, let me just elaborate and restate that I am neutral in this situation. I just hope that these young people can learn how to co parent. It's very hard, especially when your ex is somebody that you cannot stand to be in the same room with. It's very hard, but your child deserves to know both of his parents. Okay. I have seen lots of cases, and I know you guys have too. And this is speaking from personal experiences. In a lot of relationships, when it comes to women, when they are no longer with that man, they try to use the kids as pawns and keep the father away from their kids. And I do not agree with that. Okay. And I'm speaking from personal experiences that I have seen firsthand. And even when it comes to my situation, I would never keep my kids away from their father. I wouldn't care how much I could not stand that individual. I know that it's important for a kid to know both sides of the family. Okay. And I would never do that for my kid to later on in life and say, why did you keep me from my dad? Like, you know what I'm saying? He's just as much his as he is mine. So I'm never going to agree with that unless you have a good and valid reason why you're keeping him away. If he's harming the child, because I have seen situations where, somebody could be abusive to their spouse or their partner, but they would never hit their child. So, you know what I'm saying? It just depends on every situation is different. So you can't just lump all this together and look at it one way. You have to know or have some type of idea of the type of people that you're dealing with. And Alf MC said, it's funny how I can't see any of that commenter comments in the feed. Good. Wow, really? That's interesting. And FMC says, the network specialist, this is your channel. You can be neutral or biased. We came here to discuss the topic you're talking about. There are folks who come to talk objectively and those who come with negativity. Exactly, because obviously that person did not hear the audio that I just played because I clearly said that I'm neutral and there's three sides to a story and the truth lies somewhere in the middle. And Mama B said, FMC, go to the tool next to the scissors and hit all messages. Oh, okay. Mama B's just told you what to do. And FMC says, I'm the product of a single parent where the father didn't want ish to do with us and only paid child support. My mom never talked bad about him. I made my own mind up. Oh my God, your situation sounds a lot like mine. I mean, at least one of my, child's fathers, because I do have two. So your situation is almost identical to one of my situations. And Alp MC says, Mama Bees, thanks for the tip. I can now see his. Everybody's free to have their own opinion as long as you're respectable. That's why I didn't block that person, is because everybody's free to have their opinion over here. As long as you're not disrespectful, because I will get your ass up out of here. Y'all already know that. So, I was just letting that person have their opinion. I didn't see anything that, was just too disrespectful. So again, I'm letting everybody have their own opinions. Okay. And I love getting feedback because sometimes other people's point of view make you stop and think and might even change your point of view. So it's good to just have conversations. And like I said again, I would never ever keep a child from their father. So whatever they need to do to get this back on track, like I said, have a mediator, a parent, grandmother, somebody to, do the exchanges. And, that's what they got to do. They have to learn how to co-parent. Like, there's no way around it unless you want your son, because let me tell you, them sons love their dad. It's not so. If you want your son to resent you for not letting him see his dad, then continue to play these type of games or try to learn how to co-parent. And Alf MC says, I wholeheartedly agree with you, the network specialist. Everyone can have their own opinions about the topic, but he came with negativity when it wasn't a male versus female debate. Exactly. We're discussing what we can see only. Absolutely. Well, we probably know which sector, he came from. And Mama B says, please hit the like button, share and join the conversation, even if you are in the bushes. Exactly. And guys, that's going to be all for this video. So we just have to pray for these young people because at the end of the day, being a parent does not come with, a book that tells you how to do it. Once have a baby, you just have to figure everything out. Like, that's just what it is. So they're young, they still have growing to do. So, obviously, they need some of their elders to step in and assist them on this matter, somebody with much more experience dealing with this type of situation, because quite frankly, they just haven't figured it out yet. And FMC said, I must say, from the outside looking in, Halle wanted to create a foster a cordial co-parenting environment. He wanted to act like he could control her. Yes. Again, thanks for your feedback, Alpha MC. I don't know them well enough because I don't watch DDG, obviously. You know what I'm saying? My sons probably do, but I don't watch DDG, so I can only go by what I see in social media. So I don't know what he does while he's screaming or whatever the case may be. And Toot Latree said, so true. So I'm just going to stay neutral in the situation, and hopefully these young people will figure all this out. But the goal here is to learn how to co-parent. Okay. And again, more than likely she was going through postpartum. I pray for any woman that's going through that. I never went through it, but from what I hear, it's awful. And, at some point you just need to get help, because if the mother of my child said some of the things that Halle said, that would make me a little nervous too, with my son being alone with her, you know. And I don't like the fact that she said that she needs her baby to be able to do her job, and while she's filming that movie. Those words were a little strong for me. I'm going to have to admit that. And Alchemy says, the network specialist, thanks for having this discussion. Have a great rest of your day. And you do the same, Alchemy. So guys, that's going to be it for this video. If you did not like the video on the way in, please like the video on the way out. And if you just happen to be catching the replay, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and drop down in the comment section so that we can keep this conversation going. I love chatting with you guys. So let's continue this conversation. Thank you guys so much for watching, and bye for now.